The Building Better Relationships Journal and Meditation. We created the Building Better Relationships Journal and Meditation so you can magnetize the better relationships you want and focus on the positive role that you have in creating a better life through your relationships. We are excited for you to discover the gold within you that can help you manifest the love we all crave. The Building Better Relationships Journal has coaching questions that help you listen to the truth of what you want and what helps you to be empowered in love. The Building Better Relationships meditation is designed to strengthen your heart's ability to be that change you wish to see in the world. Why not download it now and think of it as a gift to those you love? If you love journaling and meditation, this is for you. Welcome to Building Better Relationships at Home and at Work with Angela and Patti podcast. This is Patti, a leadership and work-life balance coach from Arizona, USA.
And this is Angela, love and relationship coach from Sydney, Australia. And we are building better relationships with you.
Sharing new perspectives on being heart-centered at home and at work.
So you can draw on your inner power to make your relationships and the world a better place to be around.
At the start of this year, 2022, we want to wish you a beautiful year of love and connection in your relationships. Today, we're talking about the Building Better Relationships Journal and Meditation that we have crafted as a self-directed coaching tool to help you attract better relationships and learn how to accept yourself and build trust in your wisdom.
We wanted to help our listeners in their relationships throughout the year and outside of the podcast. So we created a relationship journal and meditation. We will have the link in the show notes and on the website.
Do you ever wonder why we ask questions during our podcast? The secret to building better relationships doesn't lie in our tips and strategies alone. We ask questions in the podcasts for you to dive into your inner wisdom and your unique perception and experience of your relationships. Every individual is unique. So as a coach, our job is to help you understand how you are unique and different to others, what we might call your strengths, gifts, and qualities, and how to best use these gifts to strengthen your ability to relate and build meaning in your life and relationships. The Building Better Relationships Journal and Meditation help you build that sense and understanding of how you are and how you perceive relationships and what you want to create and receive in your relationships. Well, other people can give you valuable feedback on your relationships. If you don't understand your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about relationships, you won't be able to be strong in your relationships. And you fall into the habits of people pleasing, having weak or no boundaries, and being afraid of conflict and not speaking up and avoiding people or relationships. Sounds like you and me, Patti. We've been through the hard yards.
Yes.
Right now, I know many people are struggling with relationships, and their spectrum of problems range from isolation, social anxiety, feeling unloved, to actually having relationships that are simply unsatisfying, to then the other extreme is having relationships that are full of conflict and even abuse. Patti and I started this podcast before the pandemic because as a leader in the workplace, Patti saw people being taken advantage of and companies not appreciating employees. And for myself as a teacher of love and relationships, I thought that people weren't really interested in looking at themselves And they seem to have lost the ability to find love because they didn't know how to accept or love themselves. We both saw how people, more and more people in society, were becoming inconsiderate, lacking empathy, and really just lost. And in the beginning of 2022, I see people valuing relationships, but they're really not sure in their individual ability to make those relationships better, either because they're uncertain about the future of the world and their lives and their jobs, or they're limited in the way they think about themselves. Patti, do you think our podcast's focus on relationships seems to be even more important after the pandemic? How do you see people struggling with relationships now?
I think that the pandemic has brought up a lot of emotions within people. Being in the lockdown, having to look inward, and some of the stuff comes spilling out that you weren't aware of that you were holding on to. Plus, you're living with people 24/7 that normally you might go to work or they go to school, and a lot of different demands are put on you. And boundaries are also ignored or not set, and it causes conflict because people don't know how to address or come up with boundaries while in the middle of all the chaos.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like it's even more important to listen to our podcasts. So
Yes, and all of those emotions come up, all the interaction or all the hurtful words that were said, and now people are having to deal with those words that were said that they can't take back, or those actions, or just dealing with the overwhelm and the stress because more and more stuff is being piled on you, learning new technology that you had no clue about, and trying to juggle everything, trying to homeschool your kids, which you never had to do before. All of these different things that came piling on you that were not something that you were even prepared for or ever thought you might have to do.
yeah, so a lot of tricks are being thrown at people where they're completely sidelined. So our desire in creating the Building Better Relationships journal and meditation was to offer you something that works like your personal coach. So you can work in your own time and have a gift of that personal coach without the expense of hiring a coach one-on-one. The value of the Building Better Relationships meditation is that it gives you an opportunity to feel your inner world and turn off the outside stimulation and work with your feelings directly with those people that you're in relationships with. And the meditation helps you to bypass your mind, which can get stuck on old ways of thinking, fear-based and conflict-based thinking. Patti, we have a lot of questions in our podcasts for listeners to reflect on. Can you explain how you chose the questions for the Building Better Relationships journal and how those questions could help people with their relationships?
As the journal was being built, it was built on our first 15 episodes. So the questions came from those episodes. To journal about what you might have heard or learned from those episodes that Angela and I talked about. That's how the questions came about. Journaling from the heart, just let it free flow when you're writing and answering the questions, and keep it simple and genuine. Don't edit, just free flow write, let it come out. And after all of that comes out and you go back and you look at it, it will help you a lot understand yourself and understand others and your relationship with those other people.
That can be such a benefit to help face some of those emotions that perhaps during the pandemic have been spilling out. But when you put it on paper, you can begin to start to relate to them and to actually allow yourself to go through them and maybe start to get awareness.
And heal.
And heal. Yeah, by writing. So the journal is very healing just through the writing instead of vomiting our emotions on others. And so, Patti, as people go through the journal, what do you think is the best way to use the relationship journal?
The personal journal, your personal journal, is a coaching and journaling prompt to self-reflect on your relationships and to come up with solutions to navigate and create what you want your relationship to be. So focusing on how you want your relationships to be and how to change your relationships to become what you want them to be. If you put it on paper and you put it into action, it can come true.
Yeah, that was the other part. I know that the journal questions are set up to help people listen to the podcast and then reflect on their own life with that specific journal prompt. So what else could help people to get the best out of the journal to support or transform their relationships?
By answering the questions and putting them into action, that's the most important part. And listening to the podcast episodes with that particular topic. You can pull from some of the things that Angela and I talk about, some of the situations that we talk about, the tips and the strategies, and incorporate them into your answers, or you can come up with your own answers, whatever best suits you.
Yes, because as coaches, we always know that we can't tell people what to do. We might have good strategies, but I've tried those on clients and they go, no, I think I'll do this. And I'm like, great.
Yeah, when you come up with your own solutions, you're more apt to put them into action and to follow through on them.
Exactly. And so in the Building Better Relationships meditation that comes along with the journal, you get to work on your feelings in your relationships with specific people in your life. Or in the meditation, you can focus on attracting new people you want to bring into your life, such as a friend, a romantic relationship, a boss or a new business partner, or a soulmate. When I was young, I used to visualize, fantasize, and play act with imaginary friends. Romantic partners I would create based on characters from the television or books. Play acting is pretending you're in a situation similar to role playing. And what I found out later in my adult life was I could use my imagination to imagine the kind of relationships I wanted. And that actually manifested situations and people to come into my life. So just by playing around as a child, I had discovered what Robin Byrne was talking about in The Secret. However, when it comes to manifesting relationships, it's not just about attracting a person into your life and expecting everything to be happy ever after. That's where we fall into traps in our relationships. We think that other people should behave in certain ways, and they never will. Everyone is different. Relationships are actually about sharing differences and finding out what is fun and maybe not so fun about that. A big part of all relationships, personal and work relationships, is being able to learn how to accept people's differences. And Patti works a lot with learning how to work with people's differences in the work environment. Patti, can you share how the journal can reflect on working with people you don't like?
Good question, Angela. The journal helps you reflect on your thoughts and your attitude and behaviors and why someone may trigger you. By reflecting within ideas and the past interactions may come up to give you insight of why you may perceive someone's actions as hurtful or mean when it may be far from that.
I have worked with the laws of manifestation and attraction, which are often misunderstood, especially when it comes to relationships. For example, if you want a romantic relationship and you manifest one, there is often a conflict in that relationship. It may not be a conflict with the person. It could be conflict with the family of the person, or the person lives far away. And mostly the conflict appears in how you perceive the relationship and how you think it should be versus what that relationship is. This is so typical in relationships because relationships are where we resolve our internal hurts and inability to accept ourselves. Relationships are like a drama where we act out our internal wounds. I got a lot of practice from my play acting as a child to dramatize and externalize my inner wounds into relationship conflicts. I used to play act rejection, separation, losing people through death or breakups, leaving people in other countries, and all of those things have happened in my life. So the biggest obstacle in building better relationships is healing those unhealed hurts. Often we want to attract a relationship into our lives, but when problems arise in the relationship, we think that's bad. But all your relationships, personal and professional, are actually to help you resolve problems through conflict and through questioning what's the importance or value of the relationship. So through that questioning process, you get a deeper insight into what's important for you or how to connect to your heart with a deeper, wiser, and more understanding love. Think about your parents. At some point, you would have conflict with a parent. Not all conflict is bad, but it certainly makes you feel uncomfortable or that something is not right. The parent-child relationship is really important to understand the gift of your connection to them. Think about a conflict you have had with your parents, or maybe you still have one. From that conflict, what did you learn about yourself? How are you like your parents or parent? How are you not like your parents or parent? Already, those questions will give you a lot of clues about what you came to learn about yourself from that specific important relationship. The Building Better Relationships meditation helps you to look at the significance of one particular relationship and what it is here to help you accept or learn. The meditation also focuses on sending out the emotion, feeling, or energy you really want to experience in your relationship, which can be anything. It can be love or joy, creativity, connection, whatever. And the meditation helps you to feel what is that specific feeling you want to send out into your relationships. One big obstacle to harmonious relationships is that when we have problems, we get a negative mindset or perception of that relationship or the work environment. And then that snowballs, grows into further judgment, bigger conflict, disagreement, resentment, which then can continue for years until you actually reclaim that energy that you sent out from the very beginning. So the best thing in relationships is to not let little conflicts or negative perceptions snowball and grow into big ones, and catch them when they are small. The Building Better Relationships meditation can help you do this. In the meditation, you can release hurts and then send the energy into the relationship that works to energize harmony and positive thoughts and feelings in that specific relationship. I found through play acting when I was young I would start feeling an emotion. And then that emotion would manifest in my life or manifested many years later. Emotions and thoughts actually are not bound by time. And when we use them in meditation, in prayer, creative visualization, and send them out to your world, you actually create the connection between people that you want without you having to do anything in your relationship. Meditation used this way can work as a source of inspiration for your relationships, where words or trying to speak to people's logical minds will never be able to do that. Also, using the meditation to send out the feeling and connection you want with others can give you more of those good feelings with others and work at the energy level to help others think and feel positively about you, because you are magnetizing and feeling positive energy within yourself. I have so many examples from my relationships where I had to face conflict, but I did not feel confident about my language to be able to face the conflict or persuade others or argue my side of the story. Yet when I have simply just sat and felt the energy for the best and highest good of the relationship, the words have arisen out of my mouth or in my email or message, and the conflict simply dissolved because there was no agenda from me except to have a positive outcome.
The power of a journal with meditation. You can use writing from the journal and the energy of the meditation to build your trust in your wisdom and your knowledge. This is one of the most powerful pieces of working with a coach, which we have extracted in the powerful self-reflection questions in the journal and meditation. With the Building Better Relationships at Home and at Work Relationships Journal and Meditation, we've given you an easy choice to start working with your wisdom, intuition, and energy to create your foundation for better relationships.
To find out more and purchase the journal and meditation, you can go to the website, and I'm going to spell it out. It's a bit.ly short link, https://bit.ly/BBR journal. I'll say it again. That's https://bit.ly/BBR journal.
Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you listening.
Thank you for listening to Building Better Relationships with Angela and Patti. Send us a message and please like or share the podcast. We really value your feedback.